Hello, everyone. My name is Marian. I work in the field of radiology. I've been in this field for at least 10 years, 10 and a half years. I graduated from Xray school in 2014. So, up until this point, it's been about 10 years, and I've just been specializing in different areas. I work in X-ray, I do CT, MRI, mammography, breast ultrasound. Whenever you get into radiology, you can specialize in as many modalities as you want to. So, this video is going to be to just help someone learn about the X-ray program, how you can go about with getting into an X-ray program. So on my YouTube page, you'll have a lot of videos where I show you what I'm doing at work and videos about me helping you prepare for your registry. Occasionally, I do throw in videos where I'm just sitting, talking about random topics because I didn't want to make a lot of YouTube pages. I just wanted one. So I do have a playlist so you can just find different video topics quicker. So I'm going to use my phone because since it's been a while, I forgot like the many different classes you have to take for the X-ray program along with the clinical. So at first, I have a bachelor's degree now in radiology, but at first, when I went to school, I got my associate's. So it may tell you that an associate's degree take 2 years to get, but that kind of isn't true. So it took me 4 years, and the reason why, because they go off of your ACT scores or the scores you have to get into college. So if you score low in math, English, they make you take remedial courses. So if you do everything well, if you're a good test taker and you pass your ACT or SAT test with flying colors, then you won't have to take any remedial classes or a lot of them. So the first thing, whenever you get into college, you have to take those prereqs or those basic classes. And that can last you about a year and a half, maybe even two, depending on how many credit hours you take at one time. So because I was taking 12 at one time or one semester because I was trying to work as well, I'm going to read off my phone the classes I had to take starting out. So the classes I needed before I even applied or got into the X-ray program, I had to take two English classes, a social science. So for my social science, I use a psychology class. You have to take two maths. That's a college algebra and a statistics course. And then you have your two anatomy and physiology classes. You may hear it be called A&P. You have a public speaking class or communication class. And then you have your fine arts. For my fine arts, I took music. And then you have your introduction course to radiology. And now I see I'm going back to the college where I graduated from. They have a HESI test that you have to take. I didn't have to take that whenever I applied for the radiology program, so I don't know much about the HESI test. But now it seems like a lot of colleges are adding that. You have to score a certain amount or a certain percentage to be able to qualify or get in. And it can be a little competitive. So if you're watching this video, if you're starting college or if you're transferring your credits over, just try to score as high as you can in all your classes. If you can score A's, do that. If not, try not to score lower than a B because it's very competitive getting into an X-ray program. And depending on where you live, some programs may not accept a lot of students. Some programs may accept 10 students, 20 students, 50 students. It just depends on that area. So after I got done with all my basic courses, because I did have to take like a remedial math and I think an English, and it was because I'm not good at those ACT tests. I had scored low on it, so it put me into having to take a remedial math and English. So whenever I did get into the remedial class, the instructors was like, "Why are you in here? You don't need it." But anyway, whenever you actually get into the Xray program, and this is for a radiologic technologist program with ARRT. And I say that because depending on where you live, they have different X-ray bridge programs where you're like a non-certified X-ray tech, where you don't have a license but you just performing X-rays in a clinic. And then you have your limited medical radiologic technologist where you're kind of limited at what you can do. Like you can't go to surgery and help do surgical procedures with the X-ray machine, or you cannot do fluoroscopy procedures. So this is for anyone who is interested in the radiologic technologist program. Okay, when I got accepted into clinicals, and if you wanted to know, coming out of high school, my GPA was 3.8, and after you take your classes and if you keep scoring low as your final grade, just that's why I said try to make all A's if you can, no lower than a B. So whenever I got into the actual X-ray program, I think my GPA was probably, I want to say maybe 3.5, because when I got into college it was 3.8 coming from high school. And then I think when I actually all the classes I was taking, it ended up being like a 3.5. So, okay, so you have to take a basic principle class, you have to take your positioning class, your clinicals, you have radiobiology class where it talk about a lot of physics, and a lot of it's going to pretty much be clinicals and just your physics classes. So one thing I will say, some advice I can give, try your best to learn physics, study it as much as you can to understand it, because depending on how strong you are in science and physics, it can be kind of tough. So I would say just read over the chapters as many times as you can, make notes, make flashcard notes, highlight. I like to write in pen and I like to highlight. It keeps my attention. And whenever for my class schedule, just in case you want to know, for the first year, and this is after I have gotten into clinicals, because before you get accepted into the X-ray program, you can take as many classes as you want to, just as you taking your basic classes, and then you can take it whatever days you want to. Of course, anywhere from Monday through Friday, because the college isn't open on Saturdays and Sundays. So this information is after you have gotten accepted into X-ray school and you're in the X-ray program doing clinicals. So for the first year, I believe I did like maybe like a Tuesday and a Thursday for clinical, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I think we had to do classes. So on Fridays, the classes were a little bit shorter because it's the weekend. So the classes wasn't as long. But for Mondays and Wednesdays, I think I probably was in class from 8 o'clock to maybe 2 o'clock, 2:30, because each class is probably about 50 minutes. You get like a 15 or 30-minute break, and then you go back to class, and then you get another break, and then you can get a lunch break, but you have to come back to class for the evening part or the afternoon part. And for clinical hours, it was 8 hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays for the first year. So they send you to different hospitals or different clinics where you have to incorporate what you've been doing in the lab. So anything you've been learning in the lab at school, you have to go inside of a hospital or a clinic and start doing it on real patients. So whenever you're in the lab, you're only practicing on each other students. And then whenever you go to the hospital or the clinic, you do your exams on patients, because you have to get a certain amount of exams checked off your list in order to pass X-ray school and to sit for your board exam. So they call it competencies, or whenever you get in X-ray school, you're just going to say comp. So with the competencies, first you learn how to do the X-ray on real patients, and you probably will be a little nervous. So just try to overcome that fear, because it will hold you back of getting your numbers in. And then they grade you on those X-rays whenever you are in lab and clinical. So they'll grade you and they'll see how you do. If you keep doing bad on your competency grade, this is going to drop down your grade. And I know for the program I went through, it was very small. So if you failed one class, you had to sit out for the whole year and reapply to the program. So that's why I say you can't just fail and think you'll get back in the program right away, because you're also competing with other new students. So after that, you get your competencies in, where they give you a list of what you have to do this semester, how many you need, and then how many you can carry over for the next semester. And then it just continues. So that's for the full year. You'll probably get sent to a clinical site closer to you first. And then if not, maybe you have to drive just a little bit of distance to get to another clinical site. And then for the second year, you went to clinicals more. So I went to clinical on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for my second year. And then I had classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then each clinical rotation you go to, you may see a lot of things you need. You may not see a lot of things you need. So at each site, learn as much as you can. Try to get as many exams in as you can. Because for a radiology technologist, and this is the full one where you have your full license, and they call it Radiology Technologist or RadTech. So what I was saying, that's why I like to take notes on my phone, because I don't like to go off and ramble. But you have to take x-rays of everything: head, hand, chest, spine, abdomen, feet. You have to do fluoroscopy procedures where you give them something to drink and the patient have a live camera taking pictures of whatever body part you're looking at with the contrast. And then you also have to go to surgery, where the surgical doctors are performing surgeries on patients, and you're in there to take x-rays with a machine. They call it a C-arm machine. It's a big machine. The arm of the machine is like a C, so that's why they call it a C-arm. So after that, you have your last class at the last semester, where it's like a big review course where you just prepare for the registry. You talk about what all you've learned in those 2 years. And then after you pass all that, you have to sit for the board exam. And the board exam is going to have probably 200 questions. I can do a separate video where I show you how to get to their website, what to expect on the test. So I'll do that in a separate video. Just got an alert on my computer. Okay, other than that, for my work schedule, I couldn't work a lot. It was a lot of work, so I couldn't work a lot. I worked weekends only. So I may have done Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday, 8-hour shifts, because it is a lot going through X-ray school. You have a lot of information you have to know and study. Then you have clinical, and the clinical hours was mainly in the daytime, or they may give you an evening rotation. It wasn't available on weekends. So I studied a lot, and I only worked on weekends. I did live on campus. I had roommates. But other than that, that's it for this video. If you need more information, I can make another video where I go more into detail on how to get to the website to know what's going to be on your test, and how I studied to pass my X-ray board. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section, okay? Thank you all for watching my video.